and then we'll just keep talking. Y'all can fill out the poll. This one has 3 questions tonight. So this is just about community. Do you have a prepper closet? Because I think that's important to know. You know, some of us have a really messy room where we store all this stuff. Like, what are you doing with that? And by that, I mean a place where maybe things aren't as they should be, and it's something you might want to address. You know, where like you open the closet and it falls out of your head, or you open your prepper pantry and you realize, oh no, I'm storing a bunch of stuff that somebody else should, that I'm never going to use. That happened to me once. Second question is, if things went south in your neighborhood, do you know where you would go? And a follow-up question to think about on that one is, have you talked to the person where you plan to end up? And do you know what you need to bring? Like, have you clarified that? That's sometimes we think we're really good friends with people. We're just like, I'm just going to go to this person's house. But it's definitely worth it now to have that conversation so that, you know, maybe you can leave a bin of clothes and some tools and some money or something. And then the third question is, what's the hardest part about building community? And there are multiple choices that you can choose. So that's the poll for today. Tim was right. Self Reliance Festival tickets are the cheapest they've been almost ever, with the exception of the very first event. And the reason is the sponsor is subsidizing $25 of your ticket for every ticket bought before midnight on Thursday night, which is pretty darn cool. And that's because a lot of times we've heard feedback, it's too expensive, I can't make it. The other thing, and so find the $50. I always wonder what keeps people from going, and I always wonder if the price is an excuse or if it's really tight on the budget. And it really depends on the person. I had somebody last time who was tight on their budget and could only be there for one day, and they're like, please, please, please let me have a day pass. In our policies, you don't get a day pass. You just get a pass for the weekend. But I was like, fine, I think I just let him in. And he was really, I don't know, maybe he bought it. I think I just let him in, though. And I was just like, just come and check it out, and then you're going to want to come every other time for the rest of your life. That's what happens. So don't forget, if you're going to get your ticket, it's August 1st, selfreliancefestival.com, and we have launched digital passes as well. So if you go to selfreliancefestival.com and click on tickets, there are digital passes. You'll see all the workshops we're doing as well. And last reminder for my friends in the live stream, really soon Rebecca's turning off the stream and we're going to play the second half of that video over on Zoom. And the way you get the Zoom link, and it's free, and all of the upselling we're going to do, you've already heard. Okay, so we're not like, hey, buy this $1,000 other webinar. No, we're going to be like, get your tickets, because I think the most important thing you can do right now is find your tribe. And the best way to find your tribe is to get out there and find your tribe. We'll see what our pollsters think here in a bit. But go over to selfreliancefestival.com /webinar. And I believe Rebecca has been pasting it in the comments as well, just to get the link to the Zoom so you can see the second half of the presentation. So Tim, when you think success stories from Self Reliance Festival, this is the thing it's hard to explain about Self Reliance Festival, because I don't see this happen at most events. But every time we have a festival, people come who felt alone or weren't quite sure if they were ready to start a business or were at a transition time in their life. And they decided, screw it, I'm spending my last $50 on Self Reliance Festival or whatever it is. And they came and they interacted with people, and they leave excited, motivated, and with tactical, tangible steps on what to do to change their life. And then they come back at the next festival and they're a different person. And I can think of so many. Like, do you have any that come to mind?
Well, I mean, yeah, the entire span of my relationship with somebody whom I consider a very close and a best friend, I would have to say, would be Brian Alexovich from the Lots Project. And man, it's going to be 2 years ago this fall. We met many moons ago, again, as imaginary internet friends, as Becky used to like to call it back in the day. And I had him on my podcast, and then he launched the podcast, and then him and Corey decided to do a crazy thing where they moved into an RV full time. And guess where they basically started? at Self Reliance Festival 2 years ago. So despite knowing each other through the internet, we got together there, and that has blossomed over the last while. You're going to hear a lot more about this at Self Reliance Festival because I'm doing a presentation on a certain property called Delinquent's Gully, which is a 15-acre parcel nestled in the woods south of SOE by about a half an hour. So anyway, Brian, last fall, he said, I'd like to come by and help you work on it. So he helped me build a toilet. And then he helped me build we had a work day after that. So this whole community shows up and we build an 8x8 cabin. And then I spend 2 months in Tennessee this last year. And Brian's there just about every day helping me build. We built a 16x16 cabin. We built an 8x8 storage area. We put in some rain storage. Sean Mills showed up and did some solar. Anyway, in this whole time, Brian and Corey have decided to kind of settle into Tennessee. They've kind of become the liaison to Delinquent's Gully. They're down there working. We have this kind of extended community. Brian and Corey are now, in the process of living on Delinquent's Gully. And we're doing a work for land kind of agreement. So if people think, things are too expensive, I can't make things work, it's excuses, because you can make things work by making them work. I know that I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's always about making concessions, making community, making relationships, and making it work. So anyway, Brian has become this incredible guru on Amazon affiliates and the whole works, and he has built this awesome community again for the Lots Project. So all of this started, we met online many years ago, got together right in, first thing in person at Self Reliance Festival. We then kind of nurture our relationship each Self Reliance Festival to the point where we now share land in Tennessee. He is absolutely surpassing me in some ways as a content creator. Him and Corey, his wife, are great friends with me and Becky. We broke bread many a time together. And that's the type of thing that absolutely comes out of Self Reliance Festival. So how'd we do with the poll, Nicole? Whoa, that was a rhyme there, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I haven't ended it yet, but I'm going to give about 10 more seconds in case anybody else wants to fill it out. And something that's great about that story is it answers the community development question, which is how do you develop enough trust with people that you know they're going to have your back? Because Bear was saying people I'll break bread with, and everybody I know who has that close of a relationship with people in our community where they're like, like Sean Mills could end up at my house any day that he needed to, and his wife, if they had a problem, and they don't even, they know they can. And the reason that is that we've done a bunch of GSD days together. We've gone through trials and tribulations together. We've done all sorts of stuff. And because of that, we've seen each other stressed out, right? But we've also seen each other happy, and we've sat around the campfire drinking beer and singing to karaoke playing on the phone, and we have shared interests. And it makes a huge difference. So I'm ending the poll, and I will share the results. So you can see it, right?
Yep. So you have a prepper closet.
You have a prepper closet. So a lot of you do have prepper closets. I'm going to assume some of your prepper closets are not falling apart like mine used to be. And 21% of you don't. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's such,
Maybe they have an entire prepper room and they didn't want to call it a closet.
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe they came out of the prepper closet into the room. I don't know.
So this one's a little concerning, and I hope we can help you work on that at Self Reliance Festival in our community development sessions, because we always connect people. And I only one time found one person that I didn't have somebody there physically at the event from near them. Mm-hmm. But I knew somebody to connect them with, so there's that. If things went south in your neighborhood, do you know where you would go? I mean, 64% are yes, that's good, because a lot of people haven't thought about that. 36, no. So some work to be done there. What is the hardest part about building community? Nobody's afraid of talking to strangers in this particular live stream, so that's pretty awesome. Finding people who see things the same way I do, basically. I'm surprised that is 68% in this group. Because here we are in comments at the beginning, you all were sharing where you're from. How many of you are from near each other? And the ones who are from near each other, have you met each other? That's the question I have. That's part of why we started doing a meetup here that I had to put on hold this year, but we were doing a monthly potluck / learn something meetup here because I don't mind people knowing where I live. So we can just gather here. And if you do mind that, go to the community center in your area. There's usually like a library room or something you could use. I just don't have time, 14%. What do you think about that?
I would say so. When I looked at these, I didn't see the rest of the ones at the bottom, but I saw the first four. For me, finding ways to get together was the hard one. I mean, time is they kind of go part and parcel, but again, I've used this quote so many times, but an old pastor of mine always said that we make time for the things that are important to us. And I'm not trying to lay the guilt trip there because I get it. We've raised 5 kids, we run multi businesses, and there's not enough time in the day. But if it's something you want to do, it's something you want to do. And somebody right here, Elizabeth, just said, any ideas for New Jersey? I know a pizza shop owner in New Jersey that I fired guns with at TAC Response, who's an incredibly switched on dude who is looking for land in Tennessee that I am sure I could introduce you to. So that's the beauty of this community.
Hey, I think it's time to stop the stream, Rebecca, because I'm going to say something. So I'm going to give that a little time. We'll come back to that. Keep going, Tim.